Hello again, everyone. In today's video, we're going to talk about the different file recording options that you have with your Knudsen Echo Sounder and Echo Control Science software application. So if we go up to our recording option here, you'll see there was three different options you have: start line, end line, and configure. So before we start the line, let's go and we'll actually get everything configured. So under the configure recording options, there's three main things we want to set up here. We want to set up the name of the file, we want to set up where we're going to store it, and the different type of file types we're actually going to record. So let's first start off with the file naming mode. So a few different options here. Option 1, user entry, where you actually get to type in the prefix that you want for your file name. In this case here it says KL. You can see down here it'll actually tell you what the example format is when you change it. So if I was to type in test, you can see it's come up and it now says file name KEL test. So here you actually get to create your own file name. The next option is PC generated. So it's just basically that. It'll take the information, the year, the date, the time, all from your PC at the time of recording, and it puts all that information into creating your file name. Third option you have here is from an external source. So we actually have two of our data logging packages we configure with, from HiPAC and from Quincy. This is a nice option because what it'll allow you to do is it'll take the information of the project name in your data logging package and it'll use that as the same naming for your Knudsen data. So it kind of saves you a bit if you want to look back afterwards and try to compare and match up. You can immediately go from the project file and find all the Knudsen data that's recorded with that. Automatic numbering, have that selected and you put in your start value, so it'll automatically change every time there's a new line. It'll automatically number it up. That's also a good way to eliminate the ability to possibly overwrite some existing data with some existing file names that you already have. Storage folder. In this case here, it's going to default to wherever you've installed your Sounder Suite software application. In this case, program files x86 Sounder Suite. This will be where all your data will be recorded. But if you want to change it, you can just click on different folders and it'll come up and tell you where you're going to record your data. So the other option we have here is the different file formats. So there's two main ones, the KEA and KEB. So the KEB stands for Knudsen Engineering Binary, and the KEA stands for Knudsen Engineering ASCII. So with the Knudsen Engineering Binary, basically what it is that's just recording your echogram. All the data that you see scrolling across your screen, you can record that and then play it back afterwards and view it in your post-survey application. A couple of additional options you have for your binary recording is compressed binary data and skip side scan channels. So the compressed binary data, what that'll do is when you're actually recording, your echogram may have a couple of nice solid lines, you got a hard bottom where you're seeing detail, and then you may have a lot of white background. By compressing the binary data, what that'll do is actually it'll make this file size much smaller because it'll compress down a lot of that non-information fields in your echogram. The skip side scan channels. If you had this set up where you were working with a 4-channel system or multiple systems, and you actually had it set up where you had 2 downward looking channels and 2 side scan channels, by skipping the side scan channels, what that'll mean is your KEB binary file will only record the 2 downward looking channels because you have the option down here to record your side scan channels in XTF. So it's just a way of, once again, reducing overall file size and storage by not doubling up on what you're recording. The KEA, the Knudsen Engineering ASCII format, is a text string that will be recorded, once again, based on the information how you want to configure it. So let's go into here where it says Set up ASCII format. So what this will do, this gives you several options that you can select, and you'll see we'll start building an example string. If I wanted to have position into my recorded KEA, my digitized depth, my date, my time. So all this information will arrange itself into different fields and it'll be a text string that you'll be able to look back at after. You can extract that information from there. You may be able to output that to another data logging package if you'd like. So this is where you actually go through and you can configure all this information for your KEA. Now keep in mind as well, a little hint here. If you happen that you didn't record your KEA file, but you do record your KEB file, you'll see actually in another video when we talk about the post survey, you can actually create a KEA ASCII file using an ASCII dump feature, and you can play that back from a recorded KEB file and recreate that afterwards. Next option we have here is a SegWi. Now, if you're using an actual Chirp 3200 series echo sounder, then you have the option of recording your data in SegWi. You can see here currently it's grayed out. This is actually a topic of another video, but if I just cancel this out quickly, and under my SegWi carrier type, make sure I have something selected. In this case, I'll just select it as raw. And if I go back to my recording configure, now I actually see that I have an option to record in SegWi. So you have the option here of limiting your file size to 25 megabytes. If you get some fairly larger SegWi files, some of the older viewing programs might have a problem opening them. So this way you can limit them to a certain size. The different SegWi revisions, there's 4 different options here. The Rev 0 is a fairly industry standard, but it's an older one that I believe was set up by the Society of Exploration Geophysicists. And although it was industry standard, it also lacked some of the different control parameters in that to be recorded in with the data. So we actually created a Rev 0 with KEL extensions, and that's what it defaults to. There's a couple of other options here for more industry standard SegWi options in Rev 1. My advice here is you probably want to check with who's ever going to be doing your post-processing or your data analysis and just find out what ability you have for which SegWi viewers that you have and which format they would like it recorded in, and then you can set it up here. As mentioned briefly earlier, if you have your Knudsen system set up with side scan channels, then this would be highlighted here and you'd have the ability to record XTF, which is an extended Triton format, which again is an industry standard for side scan, so it'll be able to play back with some of your viewing software. So just again quickly, under the recording options, different options for naming, where you're going to record the data, and the different formats that you're going to record them in. That's all for now. Thank you.